such a time as this.
And welcome to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. Another corona scare video. Someone wrote an article or a letter to some elected officials is entitled Rich Man's Solution, none other than Professor Abby from our round tables. Welcome, Prof Abby.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So, Prof Abby, you wrote some elected officials, and
I did.
I'll read a little bit of your letter, and then you take it from there. The economic shutdown is a rich man's solution to the coronavirus pandemic. Please stick to your guns and end it. And Prof. Abby was saying end it Monday, not Easter. She has this in the letter. It's hard not to notice that the people promoting this are almost always both wealthy and well-connected. This truth cannot be repeated often enough. Prof. Abby, what say ye?
Yeah, well, I think two things here. Well, actually, there are a lot more than two, but I'm really concerned. I mean, and when President Trump yesterday then decided that maybe he could end the economic shutdown and people could go to work around Easter, I'm just flabbergasted. And then I don't want to be a scaremonger. I mean, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. My hope is not ultimately in this world, this country, this president. It's in him. But I can't help but think that there's going to be no normal to go back to. I mean, I was concerned about the 2 weeks that will end, I think, on Monday. Now then to extend it another 2. Yes. I mean, in any case, it's hard not to think that this isn't going to just change the world as we have known it up until this point. For most of us as Americans, as fortunate as, and we have been incredibly fortunate to experience the prosperity and the freedom that we have had. And it just seems to me that the other side, it's finally starting to get some traction, but everyone just is focusing on the virus, how to contain the virus. And even the president had said, you know, our only goal is to save lives. And I thought to myself when he said that, I thought, how can that be the only goal? Because if you destroy the economy, well, in the long term, you are going to, I think, sacrifice a lot more lives.
Well, Prof. Abby is joining us by phone here. I mean, I think we're all trying to save lives. The question is, what's the best way to save the most lives, right?
Well, no, but yes, because I think destroying the economy.
Yes.
Poverty kills people. That's lives too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Poverty kills people.
So, and I'm not, and like you, I'm not even convinced that what we hear about the contagiousness and the. I've read so many conflicting reports at this point about how deadly this virus really is.
Here's what's not conflicting. The same time period that the corona scare started, the flu has killed way more people. That's not conflicting. No. That's not up for debate. The flu has killed more people in the same amount of time we have been afraid of the coronavirus.
A lot more. It's not even close.
It's not even close. A lot more, exponentially more. And so, to me, again, we've been talking like this for years. I think there is a battle that has been revealed between globalists and traditionalists. And I think this is part of the struggle. I think this is a power grab.
Sure, because, well, and if you think about, I mean, there are a lot of people in this country that have been willing to completely destroy the economy over the supposed threat of climate change for years and years.
And that didn't work.
And that didn't work. So why wouldn't they try to do it over this?
And again, I know I sound a little crazy. I know I sound a little conspiratorial,
Yeah, we know. We do.
but I do believe that globalism is real. I do believe the threat of globalism is real. Why? Because the scriptures
Yes.
say it is. The first globalist was a man by the name of Nimrod. The second globalist will be one that the Bible has entitled the Antichrist. Both, when all is said and done, both will have led the world in a worldwide rebellion against God himself. And so I don't think that America that existed 2 months ago would accept one world rule. Not happening. We don't want to live like Venezuela. Americans don't want to live like
Right.
Europeans. We don't want to live like the Chinese. We do not want to have an authoritarian government. We don't want it.
Right.
How do you move the America we knew 3 months ago to a point where we would accept Marxism?
You scare the heck out of them.
You scare them, and I know it sounds bad, and I know how I sound, because I used to laugh at conspiratorial nuts in the past. But boy, the only way I can make sense of events is that there is someone pulling the strings, and it's worldwide. It's
Right.
not just the U.S. And I know I sound like a conspiratorial nut, but
Well, it did occur to me too, and the thrust of my letter was that
yes,
an economic shutdown
yes,
is a rich man's solution to the coronavirus epidemic,
yes,
because it is only survivable by people who are well connected and have a lot of money. For them not to work for, a few weeks, a few months,
yep.
is not a big deal. And all the whether they're doctors or they're government officials, they're actors, Hollywood people, they're heads of industry. These are all people. Our leaders are all people who can get past this.
They don't live paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly, but most Americans do live paycheck to paycheck.
You have this. These are people for whom not having a paycheck, that's the leaders, not having a paycheck for a few weeks or even months would be little more than an inconvenience. By contrast, a continued shutdown will result in financial ruin for vast numbers of American families. You can't argue that. And that is why the president is saying we have to go back. Because you know what kills more people than the coronavirus? Poverty and hunger.
Yes.
That is what will kill way more people than this coronavirus will.
And it seems, and somebody brought up, there was a caller to the Dennis Prager show I was listening the other day, and I think he made a really astute point. He said that historically speaking, we have gone to war in order to protect our way of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And war costs lives. That's sacrifice. So, and I'm not trying, and I think, how do I say this without, and that's why I'm like this, the optics on this are bad at this point because we've already shut down and supposedly we're saving lives, but it's really easy for all the wealthy people to say that this is a good idea. But real life requires that decisions have to be made, and if there are no good options, you just have to pick the least destructive option, and I can't imagine that the least destructive option is to destroy the economy.
But Abby, I've said this before, and I say this a lot at our church. What's wrong with your logic? You're using it. We live in a world in which we don't know the difference between boys and girls.
Right.
We live in a culture where girls are forced to compete with boys athletically, and people are saying, that's not a problem. Because if you think you are a girl, even though you have male plumbing, you can't run faster. You're not stronger. You're not bigger. This world is
Right.
ripe.
Yes.
Ripe
You're exactly right.
for what's
Pastor
going
James.
on. It is ripe. We struggle with reality, mass delusion. We even have one of our major parties about to nominate a man who has a loose association with reality, and I'm being kind in even saying that, but it is what it is. Closing words, Prof Abby, as we close down with this wonderful letter you've written, elected officials, that this corona shutdown is the rich man's solution. I think you originally made this as suggested this to the Republicans and Trump as a campaign slogan, right?
Well, yes, because language is important and the way you
Yes.
frame things is very important.
Yes.
And there is a way to frame this that that makes sense to people, and it says
Yes.
it all in a short number of words. And I figured, I thought, and I don't know, because they may have scared people so much at this point, and
Yep.
these people are perhaps not looking 2,
Yep.
3 months ahead now. The American people, I really don't know, but I thought, this is a rich man's solution. It's not going to work for the vast majority of Americans.
Nope.
And it's very easy for our leaders to promote this because they just talk about lives being saved, but they only look at it through the very narrow lens of this virus. And quite frankly, I mean, we're working on models here and we have conflicting information, and I'm not even sure that those models are trustworthy. But
The question
that's
is,
me.
do you trust the UN and the WHO? I don't.
No. Oh, no.
I don't. These are people who actively tell us who told us actively in 2000 the world would end in 2012 if we didn't stop.
Oh, yeah.
the
They've
global
had
warming.
many dates. And in my
Many
lifetime,
dates.
we have had, I mean, if I think about, there was the new ice age, there was the population bomb, there was Silent Spring, there
Yeah.
was the ozone layer. I
Yeah.
mean, how many cataclysmic events
Yeah.
were supposed to have happened in my lifetime that turned
Yeah.
out to be nothing?
Well, this one is working.
Yes, it is.
This one is working.
And as Christians, I've been thinking too. We should be praying. We should be fasting. I mean, obviously we should be praying, but we should probably also be fasting.
Yep.
As much as I hate fasting,
Ah.
but truthfully, we really because we're going to need a lot of wisdom and strength and faith, I think, in the coming days.
And wisdom, because here's one of the things I hear. Just had to add this. You hear people saying God is going to do a revival. He's going to do a wonderful things.
Oh my goodness.
People, you don't know that. You don't know the mind of God. Here's one thing we do know that Scripture says, that God is going to come back and He's going to judge. Right? We don't know what God is doing. We may be in the days of Jeremiah, where God has pronounced judgment and told Jeremiah, your ministry is to pronounce the judgment that is coming. I've already made up my mind. It's coming. We don't know where we are. And so would I hope for revival? Yes. Would I like to see my kids grow old and see my children have children?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What fool wouldn't want that? But God may very well be saying and doing and acting in a way in which judgment is imminent. We don't know.
And Pastor James, let's face it, in previous revivals, how did they come about? They came about because God raised up pastors, preachers, evangelists who preached repentance.
Yep.
And I just don't see that.
Nope.
Those kind of pastors are so few and far between, like yourself. It's not happening.
It's not happening. The church is
at least not right now.
At least not. Yeah. And I think worldwide, the church is struggling. Church is struggling is worldwide. Of course, you have good, strong pastors sporadically, but the overall Christendom is not healthy.
No,
It is
sure
not
isn't.
good. So Be that as it may, thank you, Professor Abby, for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was a really good letter. I don't know if we would post it. We probably wouldn't post it, but
No,
it's a good topic. It's a really good way to look at things. And thank you all. Please give comments, subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to give a Christian perspective, a Christian worldview to the challenges of our time. Thank you, and God bless.
For such a time as this,